Hello everyone, my name is Shadav Sheikh. I am working as a technical lead in Aruba switching tag. The feature that I want to discuss is rollback restore config after deployed. So after you have discovered the switch in NetEdit, you made some configuration push from NetEdit which is deployed on switches. But for some reason, if you want to restore the config to the previous old config, you can use these steps to achieve this function, this feature, or this requirement. Right. So we have to go to the devices, select the device that we want the configuration rollback to be done, right? And it will open the device details. There you can find the configuration change revision IDs, as you can see on screen, the 79, 80, 78. These are all configuration change revision IDs, right? So we need to make sure which configuration change we need to do rollback the switch configuration to the previously old config, and accordingly we can create a plan, right? And I'm running on 2.10 version here. We should go on devices and suppose 6300, this is the device name, and I want to do the config rollback restore of this switch to the previously old deployed config. So as you can see, the switch was newly discovered on 14th of June 1610, and afterward there are different revision IDs, config change revision IDs 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Basically means this all config changes has been pushed to the switch after the switch was initially discovered in NetEdit and the configuration was deployed on the switches from NetEdit. So if you can see config change 3, 14th June, the switch configuration I want to restore to the previously old config that was on 14th June, right? So I know I for some reason, for testing purpose, debugging purpose, or if you're doing any change request activity, you can use these steps to achieve the config restoration on the switch to the old config. If you see from 5, I want to go to the config change revision ID 3. I will select config change revision ID 3. I will click here, create a plan. Okay, and it will open the editor page, right? And this is the configuration which I want to push to the switch, right? Here it is. So you can re-verify it one more time, and then you can even see the difference between the previous config and the config that you want to push, which means the difference between the config change revision ID 5 and config change revision ID 3. You can see the difference by clicking over here, right? So there is no change, right? But if there was change, it will have showed over here, right? So I'll return to the plan, and before that I will validate the configuration that I want to push to the switch. So validate, and device validation will happen in the backend. So this call will be made from the NetEdit server to the switch device database, right? And device validation completed without errors. So we are good to deploy this configuration. Click on return to plan, and then here we can click on the deploy. So this is the candidate configuration. So once you click on deploy, NetEdit will push the configuration to the switch, and it will write to the running configuration of the switch. So I will click on deploy over here, and yeah, deployment is in progress. All right, so device deployment, the switch configuration deployment is successful on the switch. uh, and let's see the deploy status, deploy success, right? And the deployment config change revision number should be increased by 6. So yeah, it's fine, right? So the candidate configuration is successfully deployed the switch running configuration. There are a couple of more things that can be done, rollback and commit. Commit is basically the deployed configuration. We can write to the switch a startup configuration, but if we do that, if that option is visible here, we cannot roll back. And for some reason, if you want to roll back the pre-deployed configuration, you have to click on the rollback option over here, right? So This is the steps, right? So if you go back to the device name 6300 and go to the device detail, we should see the configuration change revision ID increase by 1 to 6. So these are the steps that need to be followed if for some reason you want to roll back the switch configuration to the previously old config, right? So these steps can be executed for the requirement. Thank you so much.